All right, here we are at the regular town council meeting, Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. Apologize for the delay. We were in executive session since 6:30, doing a bunch of great work. So call the meeting to order. Margot, take it away.
For the benefit of the public, I will take another roll call. Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes, here.
Councilman Elms is excused this evening. Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Here.
Councilman Mayer?
Here.
Councilman Silva?
Present.
Council President Armington?
Here.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Great. We're going to move into a moment of silence. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag
of
of
the
the
United
United
States
States of America,
to the
to the
republic
republic
which
which
stands
stands
one
one
nation
nation
under God,
under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that.
Before we get started, please be aware that public comment during the public hearing portions of this meeting will be moderated through the Zoom app. At the appropriate time, members of the public wishing to speak should indicate so by raising his or her hand in the app. You will find the raise your hand icon at the bottom left side of your screen. You may also raise your hand by pressing *9 on your telephone. When it is your turn, the moderator will send a signal through the app and ask that you unmute yourself so that you may be heard. To unmute yourself on the phone, press *6. During executive session this evening, there was a discussion of a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Morristown and the County of Morris authorizing settlement of the tax appeals entitled A.J. Levine Trust / Post Gloria B. Levine / Maloney versus the Town of Morristown, docket number 010694-2014, 01001-2015, 011030-2016, 009551-2017, 010689-2018, and 01140-2020. At this time, I would ask for a motion to add that resolution to tonight's agenda as resolution number R-143-2021.
I'll make a motion to add resolution R-143, 2021 to the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Mayer?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Armington?
Yes.
The resolution has been added. There is one item on the consent agenda. That's the approval of the September 14, 2021 Town Council Executive Session minutes. May I have a motion to adopt, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Mayer?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Armington?
Yes.
Consent agenda is adopted. At this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing on any matter. Again, please raise your hand in the Zoom app to indicate that you would like to speak. If you've already joined the, if you've joined the meeting via telephone, press *9. Kindly state your name and address and limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Be advised that any derogatory comments targeting members of council and/or administration may be ruled out of order. No comments were received via email.
Council President, I don't see any hands raised for public comment. Oh, excuse me, there's one hand raised for public comment.
Great.
Lorena Inostroza, will you please unmute yourself and state your name and address to the record, please?
Hi, Lorena Inostroza, 39 Early Street, Morristown, New Jersey. I just have a quick question regarding the council meetings returning to public. When can somebody give me an idea when that will happen?
I have advised the administration that to research whether or not we can put in place, going back to regular session once I don't know what the technical term is, once the spread rate is below 1.0 for a period of two weeks or so. And I believe Jillian is looking into that for us.
Yes.
So it's based on the spread rate?
Yes, that's the criteria where since we can't force members of the public to get vaccinated because I guess that violates the Freedom of Information Act. So that's essentially why we haven't gone back to regular meetings.
All right, because I'm just wondering how that works with all the, let's just say the Jazz Festival, for instance. That was a lot of people in a very small space. How is that any different than a public meeting?
It's outdoors as opposed to indoors.
Oh, okay. All right, so when do you think we can have an answer? Based on the spread rate, in what timeline?
I think we're looking into, I think Jillian is looking into whether or not we can get that data at the county level as opposed to at the state level. And I think we're looking for that spread with, 2 weeks or 3 weeks short period. But I think I haven't had that conversation with the rest of the council. But that's the conversation I had with the planning board chair at the last planning board member when he brought that up.
Okay, thank you. And I have one more quick question
Sure.
regarding the lighting on Early Street. On the Madeira side of the street, there's great illumination. There's brand new lighting. I'm just curious. Hold on, I'm outside. Shit, it's so loud. Curious as to why what we couldn't have negotiated for new lighting on the opposite side, because as it stands from the top of Early and Speedwell till you get past the second senior housing building, there's no lighting. So if somebody's coming across the street from the community garden, it presents to be a little dangerous situation because you can't, especially at night, you can't see them. Is there some way somebody could look into getting appropriate lighting? Because if you see the majority of the streets, like say Martin Luther King, because I'm here now, they have this great lighting. We have antiquated, non-functioning lighting and some non-existent lighting, because that corridor, that pedestrian corridor at the top Early and Speedwell and Flagler, which also doesn't have adequate lighting, is a dangerous situation because we all know that pedestrian beacon is not being used. If it's used maybe 10 times in a day, that would be a lot. So they're disregarding that, and then there's no lighting, and it's presenting to be a safety hazard. And I'm just wondering if these are some things that somebody could look into.
I'll look into it, and I'll have the administration look into it, and I will get back to you.
Okay, you have my email address. Is that how you get back to me?
I believe so.
Okay.
But if
Council President, I can certainly get it to you.
yeah, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Council President, I don't see any other hand. There's one more hand raised.
Oh, go ahead.
Richard Modzelewski, please unmute yourself and state your name and address to the record.
Yes, my name is Rich Modzelewski. I live at 14 Hill Street, Morristown, New Jersey. I just have a question. I see the sewer plan is listed on the agenda, I think, for a $250,000 fund. I'm not quite sure how the sewer plan is funded. That's my first question. I'm curious to know if the sewer fees are used to fund the sewer plant. Because if I remember correctly, that was the original intent of the sewer fees. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. The second thing I wanted to make note of, well, many years ago, I went to the meeting when they decided the when the council had to decide as to the size of the sewer plant. And I remember quite distinctly they were giving three options. One was for an option to keep the sewer plant basically running at a regular pace. The second one was a little bit greater pace of development. The third was large growth, let's put it that way. And it, again, if I remember correctly, the council decided on the second plan for the sewer plant. So I guess my basic question is, how adequate is our sewer plant for the tremendous growth that we've been experiencing? That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosalex.
Council President, I don't see any other hands raised for public comment.
All right, we'll close the public comment period. Margot, you had something to say? Sorry.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
I thought you wanted to make a public comment as a member of the public.
I had something to say, but the moment has since passed, so you're spared.
So any responses to public comment, public hearing comments? Please excuse my my response to the first commenter. I thought she was going to be the only person, so I just responded. But
yeah, but Stefan, just a follow-up question to Lorraine's questions. Jillian, are we doing any investment in technology so that when we do commence having public meetings again, we can still maintain a hybrid virtual meeting also? Because more and more you're still going to have people uncomfortable about coming to the public. What a lot of towns and what a lot of businesses are doing, they're investing in the hybrid, and they are returning to live meetings, but they are keeping that hybrid option for people to participate.
Yes, Margot and I have been working with Hamfeld, who is our video folks, to work on a hybrid solution for when we are ready to go back into in-person meetings that will allow live viewing at home as well as interaction from home while we are in council chambers. We've been actively investigating that capability, and we're hoping to have that in place well before we go back in person.
I'd also like to have a conversation about that, with regard to the planning boards and the zoning boards as we move forward. So we can have that conversation in the future. But.
And then Jillian, will you, Richie's questions with reference, I understand that the $250,000 is actually coming out of their own reserves.
That is correct.
So I don't think that's too much of a question, because that's monies that were generated, they're put in reserves for repair and replacement. And that is coming from monies that actually have been set aside specifically for these purposes, and we're just releasing those monies. But the second question, I think, is a good one, is what is the size of the sewer plant, and can it accommodate the growth that the town is planning?
I certainly can't give specifics about the sewer capacity per se, but I actually got a message from our town engineer. The sewer plant has more than adequate capacity to address current and future development. He said, I don't even think we're at half capacity at this point. We're way under our capacity. I think there was also a question about the source of funds for the sewer plant. The sewer plant is its own utility, which means that the sewer fees are used in order to fund the sewer plant 100%.
So is our infrastructure can handle, what you're saying is, besides the sewer plant being well under capacity, our infrastructure in this town can handle all the growth that we've been making?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Roadways, maybe, we'll see. All right. With that, we'll move on to Mayor's proclamations and presentations. Mayor Doherty is not here. He's at the showing of some. What's he doing at the community theater? There's some event on. Is that a movie about effects of COVID on Morristown?
That's correct.
So I will be providing the proclamation on his behalf on annual Community Health Day, and Councilman Silva will be providing the proclamation on National Hispanic Heritage Month. Okay, so I will start. The proclamation of the town of Morristown, whereas the 25th annual Community Health Day will be held virtually due to the pandemic on Saturday, October 23rd, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And whereas the town of Morristown has a vital interest in the health of its residents and promoting healthy, productive living. And whereas health education, disease prevention, and health promotion are essential components of health and wellness. And whereas Community Health Day has continued to promote the health of the residents of Morristown by providing sound health promotion, disease prevention, and interventions in a fun-filled, family-focused event. Now, therefore, I, Stephen Armington, Council President, on behalf of Tim Doherty, Mayor of the town of Morristown, hereby proclaim Saturday, October 23rd, 2021, as Community Health Day in the town of Morristown in recognition of the importance in promoting a better health status for all Morristown residents through sound health education principles and proven health promotion interventions. And I was wondering if anyone is here to accept this or wants to speak on this behalf.
I'm not sure. Dwight Peavy, I'm not sure. Are you representing? Nope. Councilman, I don't think so.
Okay. If there is someone, before we start with the regular ordinances, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get you up here. Mr. Silva, take it away on the second proclamation.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Today, I'm honored to read the proclamation on the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Town of Morristown proclamation, whereas September 15 through October 15 is recognized as National Hispanic Heritage Month and is marked by celebrations highlighting the achievements of Hispanic and Latino Americans and their contributions made to our communities. I'm going to read that paragraph now in Spanish. Considerando que septiembre 15 a octubre 15 es reconocido como el Mes Nacional de la Hispanidad, está marcado con celebraciones que resaltan los logros de los hispanos y los latinoamericanos y sus contribuciones hechas en nuestras comunidades. Whereas Hispanics have had a profound and positive influence on our country through their strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service. They have enhanced and shaped our character with centuries-old traditions that reflect the multi-ethnic and multicultural customs of their community. Considerando que los hispanos han tenido una influencia profunda y positiva en nuestro país a través de su compromiso fuerte con la familia, la fe y el trabajo duro y el servicio, y han ampliado y han moldeado el carácter de nuestra nación con sus tradiciones que reflejan su multietnicidad y sus costumbres multiculturales a nuestra comunidad. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month was first observed in 1968 under President Lyndon Johnson and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover a 38 period, September 15 is significant because it is the anniversary of the independence for Latin American countries, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence days on September 16 and September 18, respectively. Also, Columbus Day or Día de la Raza, which is October 12, falls within this 30-day period. Considerando que el mes de la hispanidad, de la herencia hispana, fue observado en 1968 bajo la presidencia de Lyndon Johnson y fue expandido por el presidente Ronald Reagan en 1988 para cubrir un periodo de 30 días. Septiembre 15 es significante porque es el aniversario de la independencia de los países latinoamericanos, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras y Nicaragua. En adición, México y Chile celebran la independencia en los días septiembre 16 y septiembre 18 respectivamente. También el Día de Cristóbal Colón o Día de la Raza, que es observado en octubre 12, cae dentro de este periodo de 30 días. Whereas the term Hispanic or Latino refers to Puerto Rican, South or Central American, or other Spanish culture of origin, regardless of race. On the 2010 census form, people of Spanish, Hispanic, and or Latino origin could identify themselves as Mexican, Mexican American, Chicano, Puerto Rican, Cuban, or another Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. Considerando que el término hispano o latino se refiere a puertorriqueño o personas nacidas en Centro o Suramérica y que otras culturas hispanas de origen, no importando cuál es la raza. En la forma del censo del 2010, la gente de origen español o hispano o latino podían identificarse a sí mismos como mexicanos, mexicoamericanos, chicanos, puertorriqueños, cubanos o otra manera de decir hispano-latino de origen. And whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month is a time to honor the contributions Hispanics have made throughout our history and acknowledge their positive impact on our community. Considerando que el mes nacional de la hispanidad es un tiempo para honrar las contribuciones que los hispanos han hecho a través de la historia y el reconocimiento de su impacto positivo a nuestra comunidad. Now, therefore, I, David Silva, Councilman at Large on the town of Morristown, on behalf of Mayor of the town of Morristown, Timothy Doty, do hereby I proclaim September 15 to October 15, 2021 as National Hispanic Heritage Month in the town of Morristown, and I encourage Morristown residents, community organizations, and local officials to observe this month with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programming. Por el presente acto, yo, David Silva, concejal de la ciudad de Morristown, en representación del alcalde Timothy Doty, que es el alcalde de la ciudad de Morristown, puedo declarar que septiembre 15 a octubre 15 del 2021 es el mes nacional de la herencia hispana en la ciudad de Morristown y animo a los residentes de Morristown, a las comunidades, organizaciones oficiales locales a observar este mes con programación, ceremonias y actividades apropiadas. And this is signed by Timothy Doty, Mayor of Morristown.
Thank you very much, David. That was wonderful. Is there anyone from the Hispanic community that would like to speak as to this proclamation?
Councilman, I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, well, we will move on to the next order of business. Let's see. Report of mayor and town officials. Jillian.
So in the mayor's absence, I have the event listing. Of course, the past event this past Saturday, September 18th, was the Morristown Jazz and Blues Festival, which was a huge success. We also had 57 people who received the COVID vaccine during the free vaccination clinic. I want to express a special thank you to Atlantic Health, who provided the vaccine clinic, and to Public Safety Director Mike Corcoran, who worked tirelessly with them to make sure that they went off without a hitch. So thank you to both of them. Upcoming events, this coming Saturday, October 2nd, from 9 a.m. till noon is the Morristown Shred event, which is the back of Town Hall. The cost is $5 a bag or a box, weighing no more than 10 pounds. On Sunday, October 3rd, from noon to 5 p.m. is the annual Fall Festival on the Green, which is hosted by the Morristown Partnership. And then followed by that, on Saturday, October 9th, is the Morristown Festival of Books and Kids Festival of Books. They're free in-person events, and for more information, visit www.morristownbooks.org. The Friday, October 15th, we have our senior flu clinic. It'll be held from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here in Morristown Town Hall. in the senior center on the 3rd floor. It is free for seniors 65 and over with a Medicare card. Appointments are required. So if you'd like to have an appointment for our senior flu clinic, please call 973-796-1975. We also have the general election coming up in November. We are hosting early voting for the first time here in Town Hall. Any registered voter may cast their ballot early this year in Town Hall on the 2nd floor, room 201. Will be open from Saturday, October 23rd through Sunday, October 31st, from the hours of 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. I want to thank Margot for working with the county to bring in-person early voting to Morristown Town Hall. You also could drop your mail-in ballots. You can either mail them according to the instructions, or you can drop them in the drop box, one of which is available behind Town Hall in the back entrance closest to the police department. And then lastly, for more information on the election, you can call 973-285-6715 or email elections@co.morris.nj.us, or you can call the Morristown Town Clerk's office at 973-292-6636. Lastly, we are still helping for COVID vaccinations for homebound residents or for boosters for homebound residents. Please call 973-326-7828 for assistance in scheduling vaccination. And then for vaccinations, including boosters, they can be scheduled through atlantichealth.org, or you can call the mayor's office at 973-292-6626. Thank you, Council President.
Great, thank you very much. Council liaison reports.
Can I ask a quick question about the voting? Are the doors open to Town Hall on the weekends?
They will be for early voting.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Sandy, since you piped up, why don't you kick us off on council liaison reports?
You know what? I forgot to write something up for Shade Tree, but we had a very good meeting last week. And I know we're working on a lot of things. We're going to work with Rotary on the Lidgerwood project. And I don't really have anything. I apologize.
Right. No worries, speeding up the meeting. Anyone else?
The Morristown Parking Authority met on the 21st. Nothing much to report. The pay by phone seems to be working and becoming growing more popular each month.
Great, thank you.
Morristown Partnership, Stefan, doesn't meet until October 13th, but they're very busy, as Jillian mentioned, with the Fall Festival this Sunday, 12 to 5. They're very thankful for the work we're doing with reference to the G5, and they're still very concerned about the G5 in town and what impact it might have on our streetscape. And we will be talking later today an initiative that they had requested with reference to outdoor dining.
Morris Housing Authority meeting was last night. The space for the vaccine program is fully renovated. So now administration is looking to contract with the people that are going to manage the program, and they have established some rules, so they will make a difference between what the program will be and what it was in the past. Also, they continue working on the installation of 19 cameras in all the buildings, senior buildings, and the Menahem Village. Those cameras are going to be installed in parking lots, lobbies, and the common places for security of the buildings. One of the things that have forbidden them for advancing is the lack of supplies on some of the things that they need to install the cameras. Also, on the senior buildings, bingo is back at 31 Early Street, and that's very good news for our seniors. They're very happy about it. And on the same line with seniors, the MHA administration is working with SOFAL and also with Atlantic Health to follow up on the third vaccination for Pfizer. One of the things that was said last night at the meeting is that Moderna at this moment don't need a third vaccine, but Pfizer will need that, and they're trying to find the information on how this is going to happen so they can serve the seniors that had the Pfizer vaccination. On Mayhem Village, a landscaper was hired, and residents are very happy with the work that he is doing, at least those that were present at the meeting last night and were witnessing of that. Programs for the seniors, Norwich, New Jersey, continue offering the food market and other programs with the proper protocols. As a matter of fact, I drove by the buildings today and they were with the program this afternoon. And that's all from me.
David, speaking for myself, you might recommend an intergenerational bingo night. My wife and I love bingo, so it'd be nice to join the seniors in a bingo night.
Yeah, that will be a good challenge.
If that's it, then we'll move on to regular business.
Okay, there is one ordinance for introduction, ordinance O-29-2021, ordinance appropriating $250,000 from the Sewer Capital Improvement Fund for various sewer improvements in and by the town of Morristown in the county of Morris, New Jersey.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number O-29-2021.
I'll second.
Question, Jillian, I'd asked for an update on the solar panel project. Can we expect that now or at some point in the future?
I can give you a high-level overview of where we are with the sewer project. So the solar panels, what I'm trying to say. The original solar panel project was installed in 2009 at a cost of about $4.9 million. So far, we've sold XREX revenue, or we've collected collective revenue from the sale of SREX of about $1.9 million so far. I will tell you the first couple of years was a lot more lucrative. We used to see between $300,000 and $400,000 a year. Now it averages about 100 a year. Some years are a little bit better, some are worse. So for the last 10 years or so, the revenues from SREX have basically covered the electric costs at the sewer plant, but really nothing more. As far as recouping the costs, I guess we're not quite halfway there. About $100,000 a year, we've got a ways to go.
So in terms of the policy or the prospect of additional solar projects, I know that the federal incentives aren't what they used to be, and based on your high level overview, it seems like the panels essentially will go defunct before we actually make basically pay off the system.
Yeah, I mean, since we already have the solar panels in place, I think it's worth keeping them for the $100,000 revenue.
Right. Yeah.
But I think the prospect of constructing any additional solar facilities, the cost benefits likely not there. And there's nothing that would give me the impression that they would return to any level of lucrative level anytime soon.
I appreciate it. I've been looking into possibility of doing something at the recycling center, but I appreciate I had a good sense that was the case, but I was happy that you could provide it in reflection of the sewer capital system. So any questions about this resolution ordinance?
I do. So Jillian, does the SREC program expire at some point? I know where I live, we entered into a program for solar and the SREC's program ran out way before we recouped how much money we spent. Or is
I
it
don't
just-
believe so, but I will verify that with our CFO.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I know that he times the sales depending on the pricing and the market. But beyond that, I don't believe that they expire, but I will double check that with Frank.
If there's no further questions, I will ask Margot to introduce, call the question. There you go.
On the introduction of ordinance O-29-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilman Mayor,
Yes,
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Ordinance O-29-2021 has been properly introduced by title and will be considered further after a public hearing on October 12th. There are 4 ordinances for public hearing and adoption. Ordinance number O-25-2021, ordinance providing for certain capital improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport by the town of Morristown and the county of Morris, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $11,225,040 therefore to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-25-2021.
I'll second.
At this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-25-2021 only.
Council President, I don't see any hands raised for public comment.
We will close the public hearing.
Any comments or questions from members of council?
Now, Stefan, just for the record, Margot is getting a date for the airport subcommittee to meet with the mayor and administration,
Fantastic. Thank you.
with our attorneys.
Yes. All right, please call the question.
Okay, on the adoption of ordinance O-25-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
No.
Councilman Mayor,
yes,
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Ordinance O-25-2021 is adopted. Ordinance number O-26-2021, an ordinance providing for certain capital improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport by the town of Morristown and the county of Morris, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $407,255 therefore to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-26-2021.
I'll second.
I will open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-26-2021 only.
Council President, I don't see any hands raised for public comment.
All right, we will close the public hearing.
On the adoption of ordinance O-26-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
No.
Councilwoman Mayor,
yes,
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Ordinance O-26-2021 is adopted. Ordinance number O-27-2021. Ordinance providing for certain capital improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport by the town of Morristown and the county of Morris, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $575,000 therefore to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-27-2021.
I'll second.
I'll open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-27-2021 only.
Council President, I don't see any hands raised for public comment.
We will close the public hearing on O-27-2021.
On the adoption of ordinance O-27-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
No.
Councilman Mayor,
yes,
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Ordinance O-27-2021 is adopted. Excuse me. Ordinance number O-28-2021. Ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 3-9 skateboards, Chapter 11-4 conduct in parks and recreation areas, Chapter 18-9 riding upon streets and sidewalks, and adding new Chapter 3-10 electric personal transportation vehicles.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-28-2021.
I'll second.
At this time, I'll open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance O-28-2021 only.
Council President, I don't see any hands raised for public comment.
We'll close the public hearing.
Any comments or questions from council?
The only comment I have, and it was brought up to me, was the code section referencing electric personal transportation vehicles is silent as it relates to their use in town parks. And I think at this point it's fine that it's silent. But I just wanted to share that comment with the council.
Okay, on the adoption of ordinance O-28, 2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilman Mayor,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Ordinance O-28, 2021 is adopted. With the addition of with the addition of resolution R-143, 2021, we have 8 resolutions up for adoption. Is there any one that members of council would like to pull for separate consideration?
I'd like to pull R-151, please.
Okay, I would ask for
And I like to
I'm sorry,
pull 152.
152?
And
Any
I
others?
like to pull 155.
Okay, so I would ask for a motion to approve resolution numbers 143, 150, 153, 154, and 156-2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. On the adoption of those resolutions, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayor,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolutions are adopted. Resolution number R-151, 2021, resolution extending temporary suspension of certain provisions within Chapter 4, Section 5 of the Town Code, entitled Sidewalk to extend the sidewalk cafes until October 31st, 2021.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-151, 2021.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Mayor.
Yes, I was just reading some things on Facebook, the group, the Morristown Stimulus Plan, which was created to support all the downtown businesses during COVID, had some people posting, why are we limiting it to October 31st? If the weather is nice, will we be looking to extend it a couple more months or indefinitely? So I wanted to bring it up and see how people feel. Are we going to revisit this in
Well,
October if we want to extend it through November or December?
So the resolution does not extend outdoor dining. What the resolution does is it grants the business administrator the ability to negotiate outdoor dining with businesses without consent of the council. So,
And Sandy, also along those lines, Sandy, this was actually initiated by the Morristown Partnership, and they only asked through the end of October. We always have the right to extend it, but they felt that October was sufficient.
and I believe, just as a follow-up, most restaurants have the ability to apply for outdoor dining, and that is basically an application process with a hearing before the town council, and so it provides that public input opportunity. In this case, we're essentially waiving that requirement through October 31st. And I know for myself, there's at least one restaurant that has received complaints about, and Jillian has expressed her position that she is working with that business, and we're working to resolve those issues, and with the potential need for suspending the outdoor dining if the issues don't get resolved in a timely fashion. but like to your point, every restaurant has the ability to have outdoor dining indefinitely, though they have to apply for it, and there needs to be a public hearing for it.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman, just a point of clarity, there's actually, the resolution has two components. One does give me the ability to regulate the expanded outdoor dining, but it also authorizes the expanded outdoor dining, which suspends the sidewalk cafe
Right.
rules. So even if you want to, bifurcate it and take on the oversight back with the governing body, you would still need to extend the expanded outdoor dining past October 1st if you so choose.
Right. Thank you. If there's no other questions, call the question.
On the adoption of resolution R-151, 2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer,
Yes,
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted. Resolution number R-152, 2021, resolution rate governing body certification of the annual audit.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-152, 2021.
I second.
Councilman Silva.
Yes, I just want to briefly commend administration, Jillian, and the team, because that report shows the great job that they're doing, and truly saying I admire that work. I know that is not an easy work, but seeing the town doing great on that aspect, which is one of the most important, brings satisfaction to all of us, and has to please every resident in Morristown. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'd like to sort of publicly acknowledge Frank Mason, our CFO, and all the work that he and his office have done. Kudos to him.
Call the question, please, Margo.
Okay, on the adoption of resolution 152-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer,
yes,
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number R-155-2021, resolution authorizing the execution of a letter agreement with Morristown Development Urban Renewal Phase 2 LLC for release of escrow funds related to public art.
I will make a motion to adopt resolution R-155, 2021.
I'll second.
Councilman Iannacone?
Jillian, we're really putting you to the test tonight. So here it goes. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, I think this is with reference to the piece of public art that's going to be erected at Bank and Market. And I just thought it'd be a good opportunity for the public to understand how the choice of the art is made. And we understand how it's funded, but you may want to briefly say how it's funded, and then how the choice is made.
Sure. This is for the piece of art that's going at the Speedwell redevelopment area in the park.
Oh, Speedwell, okay.
Yes, and that was resolution 157 that authorized 156 that authorized the installation of the work. 155 is the letter agreement that authorizes release of the escrow funds. The escrow is part of the Speedwell area redevelopment phase 2. The developer was required to set aside 1% of art up to $100,000 towards the installation of public art within the redevelopment area. In this case, the developer contributed $100,000, of which the first $53,000 was allocated to Morris Arts for the totem project at the Early Street Community Garden, which is across the street from the site. The remaining $47,000 and change will be allocated to the installation of the public art in the to be named public park that's under construction now in the Speedwell redevelopment area. So that is how this public art is funded, and the other public art through the Percent for Art program. As for the selection process, we went through a public process that was facilitated with Morris Arts. We had a jury which consisted of members from Morris Arts, representatives from the council. We had a member from Morris Museum, and a couple of members from like our planner, myself, the mayor, who solicited proposals. Well, we solicited initially information and portfolios from a number of artists, and then narrowed down to a short list of artists who then provided proposals for this space, this specific space, and then ultimately made a selection of the artist and the piece of artwork. That is the selection criteria that we've set in place for public art related to the percent for art program. And in this case, we selected Nathan Pierce, who I believe is out of Atlanta. We had a lot of really interesting and creative submissions, but I'm excited about the art that's coming for the art space in the park.
Since Bob brought it up, where do we stand on the art installation on Market and Bank?
So that is, we've envisioned that as a shared project between the Fox Rothschild site and 55 Market, which is the vertical residential project. They're both still have escrow funds set aside, and neither one has reached their certificate of completion. We did do a selection process for that space, and we'd initially looked at the stairwell that's kind of in between the sites, but we're still sort of working with the developer to finalize that selection process and the funding, so that will be coming down the pike. And Stefan, I know you had asked me some questions about that, and I have some information for you that I'll discuss with you after the meeting.
Yeah, there was some contract with Australian artists or something like that. So, right. All right. If there are any no other questions, call the question.
On the adoption of resolution R-155-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Great. That concludes the regular business. There's no unfinished old business. There's one new item for new business. Planters on sidewalks, suggested revisions to chapter 18-4 of the town code. Stefan Armington, take it away. So the town code, that section 18-4 says that no business shall use public right-of-way sidewalks for anything other than Christmas decorations or in certain occasions flags. When I walk down the business district, a certain number of people have planters, and most of them are very very nice looking. Some of them get a little shabby in the fall and winter. But I think it's overall it's a nice contribution to the town business district, and complements the partnerships planters that come out in the spring and summer. So I wanted to bring this to the council and administration's attention and see if there was interest in making modifications to the chapter to allow for planters, possibly with a zero cost or some almost zero cost permit, essentially limiting the size of planters to something manageable, restricting the location to require a certain number of feet of walking space, unblocked walking space, restricting, locating it near curbs where parking is there, essentially, and maybe having some commitment to maintain it. I think that that might encourage more businesses to do it, but if nothing else, we can't have someone come in and say these are all bad and they're violations of the code, and we're going to get rid of them all. So any comments or thoughts from council or administration?
Stefan, at the partnerships meeting on the 13th, I'll review it with them, but generally I think it's a great idea. Because I think what it does is it encourages more of the property owners actually taking more pride in their storefronts.
All right, great.
I mean,
I like the idea.
I think if they're up against the building and they're not impeding the walkway or impeding anybody getting in and out of cars or the bike racks that are along the streets,
Right.
beautification's a nice thing.
All right, good. All right. It's all right with you, Jillian. I'll work with you and we'll see if we can make some additions.
Sounds good.
Thank you. I did bring this up with the mayor. I had coffee with him, and he thought it was a good idea. Though he did express that some businesses in the center of town, next to the bars, have put up planters, and those planters have been vandalized by late night bar patrons. And so there's some level of hesitancy in those areas. So.
But also, Stefan, along those lines, I'll talk with Jen in the partnership about how we maintain them consistently and equally throughout town.
Right. I looked at sort of reviewed the partnership ones, and there seems to be some discrepancy between some areas and some other areas. I'm curious how once they put them in, maybe you could sort of give a quick presentation to us on, how do they decide what plants to use and how does the program work and how do they get maintained and things like that. I think that'd be of interest to the council.
Okay.
Thanks. All right, that's all I have.
Council President, now some of these planters I know I've actually seen, I don't know if they were close to the businesses, but are we going to regulate that? I know I've seen some sort of closer to the curb, like where maybe the light posts are. And they're attractive. I mean, they look really nice. So is there going to be some type of, we're going to be critical of where the location is, or does it really matter if it's directly in front of the business?
I think that's the subject of the conversation. What is in the best interest of the public in terms of regulating the location of them? Clearly we don't want them in the middle of the sidewalk. Clearly we don't want them on the curb when people when they block doorways. We don't want them next to bike racks, things like that. So I would say existing sidewalks, existing planters don't really constitute pre-existing non-conforming uses. I would think once the ordinance went into place, someone would politely advise the business that we have this new ordinance and it'd be compliant with the code if you moved it 2 feet or moved it to the edge of or wherever it needs to go.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea.
Find out from Jen if people have inquired about getting planters and have been hesitant to because of any, ordinance that was prohibiting it. See if there's been a big interest, or if she could ask people how big of an interest it is. Could be that there's not a lot of interest and we just don't, Bob.
Yeah, we will. But, I'm just sitting here thinking, we really should take more interest in this. And I think this is a good first step in the discussion. Our plantings in what I'll call our gardening, we hear multiple complaints about the train station, and they're absolutely correct. The inconsistent maintenance of the train station, the entranceway off of 287, a lot of these issues, which I call, quality of life issues with reference to the impression that our town gives and the beauty that our town could possibly have. We should kind of take a close look at this in this sense, in this ordinance, and maybe some others in the future.
You know, if you compare us to Chester or you know,
Madison.
these other sort of Madison, where they have, you know, just glowing planters and gardens and everything else, we're not there. But you know, it's so.
I will say this though, if you've ever walked in downtown Madison, their sidewalks are not wide and their tree wells have tree roots overgrowing them, whereas our tree wells are gorgeous. It's flexi paved. So I wasn't, and I'm not tooting the Shade Tree's horn because I wasn't on Shade Tree at that time, but that was a big thing with the mayor, the administration, and Shade Tree to get that flexi pave in, which makes walking so much more user-friendly in Morristown, whereas Madison, you really have to watch where you're walking so you don't trip over their trees. And they don't
Careful,
have that
Sandy.
wide sidewalks.
Careful, Sandy. We got the Shade Tree and Gardening Commission.
Thank you. That's all.
All right, if there's nothing else, anyone else have anything new?
I just want to say a final comment, and I reserve this for the end. Since I was reading on behalf of the mayor, I just want to thank the mayor and the administration. The mayor has been 101% supportive of Hispanic Latino community, and issuing this document today, this proclamation, is a great thing for the Latina community. And I just want to commend him and to thank him for that in behalf of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. See you in 2 weeks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.